Over the past decade, I have tried everything from drop shipping to laptop flipping, day trading to taking online surveys, and everything in between. But instead of giving you a boring top 5 list of the best side hustles, we're going to go through as many of them as possible that I have personally tried and rank all of them to help you decide on the best side hustle for you. Let's get started. First up, drop shipping. Yes, as embarrassing as it is for me to admit, back in the day during my senior year of high school, I started an incredibly unsuccessful dropshipping store called Urban Extension. And on my low quality Shopify site, I attempted to resell the lowest quality watches and accessories that money could buy from AliExpress. Pretty embarrassing, but if you're not familiar with dropshipping, this boomed in popularity a few years ago, and essentially you would find a product on a site like AliExpress for cheap and sell it for a higher price on your own site like a Shopify store, and you would get to keep the difference. And the best part is you never had to handle any product because you would just have AliExpress ship the item directly to your customer. So you sell a product for $10, you buy it from AliExpress for $2, and you get to keep the profit of $8. Sounds great, but it's not as easy as all of the dropshipping gurus online make it out to be. And while I definitely had no idea what I was doing, and this can be an incredibly lucrative side hustle, there's a lot of crap information online about it. So it definitely can work, but it was a huge flop for me, and unfortunately there's a lot of scams online for expensive dropshipping courses, so this one goes in the C tier. Perhaps the most popular side hustles nowadays all fall under a category that we'll be calling service apps. This includes things like Uber, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Instacart, and that kind of stuff. Obviously, giving someone a ride in your car is very different than delivering their lunch, but these all involve downloading an app on your phone, performing a simple service for someone, and being compensated for that. Now, I personally have limited experience with this, but I did briefly give it a shot when I was in college, and while it wasn't for me personally, it is a super easy way to get started making some side hustle income, and you can work flexible hours on your own time. Plus, it is a proven and legitimate way that people are making money, and a lot of money in some cases, with some Uber drivers reporting income of 6 figures or more. It might not be the most glamorous thing in the world, but at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. So we'll be putting these service apps like Uber and DoorDash in the A tier. Next up is doing some kind of online freelance work through platforms like Fiverr or Upwork. Again, this one is a pretty broad category because you could put any number of services online on a platform like Fiverr, but I have both offered content creation services on platforms like this and have used services like this for logo design and video editing and that kind of stuff. And in my experience, it is a fantastic way to make some extra cash, assuming you have a valuable skill to offer. Similar to the service apps that I mentioned earlier, it's super easy to get started and you can work on your own terms. And even if you feel that you don't have a valuable skill to offer, YouTube is a thing. And while I wouldn't recommend that you list a service unless you can really add some value to somebody, you really can learn anything online nowadays. And listing things like article writing or video editing or proofreading, logo design, or really any number of things like that can be incredibly lucrative, with a lot of people using this to replace their full-time income. So we'll be putting this one in the A tier. All right, but what if you actually want to go out into the world and interact with human beings? I know that's a crazy concept in today's world, and that's coming from a guy who's sitting in a room right now by himself talking into a camera. But before you could earn cash from your laptop in your pajamas, there were countless ways to make some extra money by providing services to people around you. This again could be any number of things, but we'll lump these into a local services category. But this could be anything from asking your family or friends if you could provide one of those services to them, to actually ramping up a more sizable business model and doing some local marketing in your area. And I'm sure many of you have experience with a number of the things that I just mentioned, and that is certainly not a comprehensive list, but the business model here is not exactly rocket science. This could be as simple as asking a friend or family member if you could provide one of these services to them, or starting a more legitimate business and doing some basic marketing in your area to get the word out. And as a result, the amount of money you can make from something like this varies drastically, but at the the end of the day, lots of people need their lawn mowed. Lots of people need someone to walk their dog. Lots of people need someone to babysit their child, and the sky is really the limit here. That being said, most of the examples that I've given you for this service category are going to be a bit more labor intensive, and unfortunately, there's only so many hours in the day. So we'll be putting this local services category in the B tier. But if you are younger and you aren't able to access a lot of the apps and platforms that I've already talked about, then this is probably your best option and can be very lucrative. All right, but now let's get into the good stuff and talk about my favorite and most lucrative side hustles that I've tried over the years, starting with one that I've talked about many times before on this channel, and that of course is laptop flipping. I did this off and on for years, and in college this was my main source of income, and all I would do is buy a laptop at a low price, whether that be locally on Facebook Marketplace or somewhere online, clean it up and take really nice pictures of it, and then sell it for a higher price and keep the profit. And considering I was on a large college campus, selling a cleaned up MacBook was not exactly the hardest thing in the world. In my case, I know a lot about MacBook computers specifically, so I stayed within that realm, but I've heard of people flipping everything from couches to baseball cards, and at the end of the day, if you're knowledgeable about a specific item and know how to get it at a low price and sell it at a high price, then you're going to make money from this. I definitely got burned a few times, so you need to know what you're doing, but most computers I would make anywhere from $200 to $500 in profit per flip, and when I was really focused on this in college and doing a lot of computers each month, there were times where I would make $4,000 to $5,000 a month just by buying and selling laptops out of my dorm room. Also, if you're into travel hacking and earning credit card points, then buying a laptop on a credit card and selling it for a profit meant that not only did I get to make some money from this, but I also racked up hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit card points that I am still using to this day to travel all over the place for free. If you can't tell, I absolutely love this flipping side hustle, so for the first time today, we're gonna put laptop flipping, or whatever you wanna flip for money, in the S tier. We still have to talk about my most lucrative side hustle, but this next one is highly controversial, so get your fingers ready to type some angry comments, because I'm talking about day trading. I made a video about my whole story with day trading years ago, and I tried this off and on for a long time, and eventually stumbled upon Ricky Gutierrez, who is a large creator here on YouTube, who predominantly talks about day trading. And day trading just means that you are buying and selling a stock or other asset in the same trading day, and it typically involves highly volatile assets, since the hope is that you can buy at a low price, sell at a high price in a very short period of time. But as you can imagine, this is easier said than done. Now, similar to my experience with drop shipping, which I talked about earlier, a large part of my failure was my own fault, and not a function of the side hustle itself. However, if you are gonna try this one, just know that it can be incredibly dangerous, emotionally taxing, and you should never be day trading or really investing any kind of money that you can't afford to lose. Now, there are some great paper trading tools that allow you to practice with fake money, and honestly, Ricky's course, which yes, I did pay for, is actually pretty good, and for a short while, I was making a lot of money day trading. But my beginner's luck quickly ran out after a few weeks, and once you get greedy and take that first big loss, most people, myself included, just panic and think, well, I can just make it up with this trade, or I can just make it up with that trade, and before you know it, you've lost a lot of money, and that is a gut-wrenching feeling. It's honestly closer to gambling than it is investing. Again, that's not going to be the case for everybody, and obviously there's people who make a ton of money doing this, but just know what you're getting yourself into before you put your hard-earned money on the line. Unfortunately, there's just a lot of people who get way in over their head with this one, so I'll be putting day trading in the D tier. On that note, if you are looking to be more hands-on and active with your investing, then the app that I've started using to invest from my smartphone is MooMoo, who was also kind enough to sponsor today's video. And with so many earnings calls coming up, this is a great way to stay up to date on your investments right from your phone. If you click on Markets, then Explore, you can access the earnings calendar to follow the companies that you are interested in, and you won't miss out on their earnings reports. Plus, the earnings hub section will give you a quick summary of how each earning call went so that you don't have to spend countless hours reading through the reports yourself, which is going to save you a lot of time. And that's not even the best part about MooMoo. From right now until the end of May of 2023, you can sign up using the link in the description and get a free stock when you open your account, 4 additional free stocks if you deposit just $100, and 10 additional free stocks if you deposit $1,000 or more. And as an exclusive offer for my viewers, they're throwing in an additional 5 free stocks when you deposit just $100, meaning you can get up to 20 free stocks. So if you've been looking for a way to be more active and hands-on with your investing from your smartphone and you want to get some free stocks, then again, check out the link in the description and register for MooMoo today. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, last but not least, let's talk about the most lucrative side hustle that I have ever tried. But first, let's generally categorize the other ridiculous side hustles that I'm sure you have seen online before. I'm talking about things like Sweatcoin, which will supposedly pay you to walk, or online surveys like user testing, which will pay you to review websites. Can you make money doing these things? Yes, and I have done them myself before, but you would be way better off putting your energy into something completely different, or honestly just getting a regular job at that point. Don't waste your time with these, they all go in the D tier. All right, there are countless other side hustles that I have tried over the years, but we have to talk about the most lucrative side hustle, which is of course starting a YouTube channel. Now, in my case, I found that YouTube was the best option for my skills and what I wanted to talk about, but really this could be just starting any kind of social media business. And before you write this one off for yourself, I'm a great example that it does not take millions of followers in order to make a good livable income on social media. Magnified Money is not a massive YouTube channel, and while I'm incredibly grateful for the tens of thousands of subscribers that we have, you and I both know that there are much larger channels than mine. Yet despite that, this small YouTube channel has provided my wife and I with a wonderful, modest lifestyle that I am very happy with. And no, I don't drive a Lamborghini, but my Mazda gets way better gas mileage anyways. So if you've been thinking about starting some kind of social media business for a long time and you just keep kicking it down the road, my biggest advice to you is just start. It's not too late. I've said it before, but my first video on this channel absolutely sucks, and it's embarrassing that it is still live on the internet, but I leave it up there because it's an important reminder that you just have to put one foot in front of the other and try to be 1% better than you were yesterday, no matter what you're trying to accomplish in your life. With a really small audience online, you can start earning money through affiliates, sponsorships, AdSense, and tons of other ways, all while talking about topics that you are knowledgeable and passionate about, and hopefully promoting products that fit that niche as well. So no matter what side hustle you've been kicking around in your head, just get started. You'll thank yourself later. Let me know your favorite side hustle down in the comments, since we didn't get anywhere close to covering 100 of them in today's video. And of course, take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.